Habitica is an online game that focuses on implementing the use of elements incorporated into popular video games to create better habits. Users can manually enter small tasks that they'd like to do multiple times throughout the day, daily tasks, or just simple to-dos. The more of these that are completed, the higher up your character levels, and each time you complete a habit, you get some kind of reward. Habitica essentially works itself off of grinding. We press these buttons over and over again to signify that we completed a behavior, and in turn, our goal is the points that we get in order to continue on improving. The things that we get from Habitica after progressing are good extrinsic motivators, those that drive certain behaviors because of external rewards, which could be things like coins or gems. We keep doing this because we never know what we're going to get, and then we reach level 10, get to pick our own class, and that only increases the determination to keep grinding. We get special gear and experience based on our specific class. However, a potential downside to this is when our competitive nature starts to kick in and gives us an incentive to take advantage of the fact that all we have to do to level up is keep on clicking. One explanation for our competitive nature is the fact that games facilitate us in making social comparisons relative to determine how well we're doing, something that Madigan talks about in Chapter 5. This is something that Habitica users can easily unintentionally do, and something that we've actually admitted to doing ourselves in class. When you go to see a quest or to look at your party and you can see what level everyone else is on, you may know you're in the same party, but seeing that someone is advancing faster than you are and is at a higher level is enough in itself to welcome your brain into making comparisons that might make you feel inferior or like you're losing. However, Habitica has several elements implemented into the app itself that try to help and encourage us so we don't get to that point. For one, when you hit the positive sign, indicating that you've performed a positive behavior, one of the ones that you want to turn into a habit, you not only gain things like health, experience, or mana, but you also hear a sound that usually indicates and affirms the behavior. And it's random in the sense that you never know what you're going to get. An egg, a potion. The same thing happens for when you hit the negative button. You lose health and mana, and a different sound is heard. Habitica is using the elements behind what a core loop is. You get a cue, a good sound for a positive behavior, get a reward, and then continue doing that behavior or clicking that button in order to continue the process. This also establishes reinforcement in a sense because it's rewarding good behavior with different kinds of additions to your equipment, like food or an egg that might hatch a wolf, a colorful pig, a zombie bear, or you can progress in your level and then it removes health or mana from your character in an effort for you to remember what happens when you forget to complete a task. Habitica even uses other elements mentioned in the book, such as having information on the loading screens when you use it on the computer. Madigan talks about positive messages on the screen, but Habitica opts for helpful tips. All in all, for its intended purpose, Habitica is a fun app, and I think it can be useful for someone who truly wants to change their behaviors and form better habits. But for the purposes of this class, I think the fact that we knew we were competing limited us in that it defeated the purpose of the game for everyone. For most, it turned more into having the highest level as opposed to actually making good habits and achieving goals related to those habits. In class recently, we talked about the basic psychological need of relatedness and how we all strive to be connected to one another in some way, shape, or form, as well as the process of immersion or deep mental involvement. I think that Habitica could be more successful if they worked on these two things to better target players. It's fun to be in a party with other people, but when you think about it, the only thing you ever see is each other's levels, what class they're in, or different things that they do when they're in the middle of a quest. I think some kind of narration when we're sent on a dragon quest or a lunar hunt would not only make us feel even more like we're a part of a team, but it will allow us to get more immersed in the game because the level of enjoyment would go up. As much as you can grind to up your game, it can get boring when there isn't really anything else going on. In turn, those short little clips of our avatars working together could possibly strip away some of that need for competition since we're visually seeing our avatars working together. I think it has the ability to serve its intended purpose, but there are definitely improvements that can be made not only to make it more enjoyable for players, but to also make sure it's actually helping them.
Bruh.